Have you ever been in a situation where you meet a stranger and maybe just 3 minutes prior, and he asks you, can you give me a specific example of a time where you had to break company policy in order to make a customer happy? Or tell me of the time when you disagreed with your manager. How did you confront your manager? I can imagine that you'd be thinking in the back of your head, weirdo, get away. Why do you keep on asking me the same question in just a different way? Unfortunately, you cannot act upon your instinct because you are interviewing for this stranger's company. My fellow Toastmasters, and yes, you were a participant in a behavior interview. A behavior interview can be very, very confusing and very, very frustrating if you're not prepared. But all you have to do to be prepared for a behavior interview is 1, remember the acronym STAR, 2, be a member of Toastmasters, 3, attend the weekly meetings. Currently, 30% of employers are using behavior interviewing in some degree. This type of interview is based on the idea that the best way to determine future performance of a candidate is to examine that candidate's past, present performance in a similar situation. The questions are designed to evaluate the candidate's experience, knowledge, skills, behavior that's job related. And the logic is, if a candidate behaved one way in the past, the candidate will repeat that same behavior in the future, i.e., past performance equals future performance. You may be asking, what is the difference between a traditional interview versus a behavior interview? In a traditional interview, the candidates ask a series of questions that are very, very straightforward. Like, what are your weaknesses? Where are your strengths? Or, what challenges have you faced? How did you overcome them? My all-time favorite is, what is your worst quality? In a behavior interview, the employer or the interviewer has decided what skill sets and what skills that qualifies. So the questions the interviewer will be asking are questions to evaluate if the candidate has the skills necessary for the position. Instead of asking the candidate, how did you behave in the past? The interviewer will ask, how did you behave? The employer will also want to know, how did the candidate deal with the situation and not how the candidate might have dealt with the situation. You're probably asking yourself, how would I frame my answers to these questions? So my suggestion to you would be, just think it's your turn at table topics. Since you would not know what situation will be asked of you until you arrive at the interview, refresh your memory and consider a situation that you were involved in, or a project that you worked on. This will help you frame your answer. Offer stories that illustrate a time where you were highly successful, you problem solved, or your result was very, very memorable. Now you're in the middle of the interview. What should you do? I would recommend remembering your speech, your icebreaker speech, except with 4 special conditions. Remember, to be a star, you have to remember STAR. So first one is ST. Situation, task. Describe a situation that you were involved in or a task that you completed. Make sure that you give a specific situation or a specific task, not a generalization of what you did do or what you wish to have done in the past. Please provide the interviewer enough information to understand the situation. You can use experiences from your work experience, your volunteer activities, and even Toastmasters. The next one is for A, action. What action did you take? Describe the action that you took in the task. Make sure that you focus on yourself. Even if what you're describing is a group project, just highlight the task you're in the task that you were involved in instead of what the group goal was. Don't state what you might do, state what you did do. The last one is R, is results. What results did you have? What did you learn? What was the end results? I admit the acronym could have very been STARS, but you would agree that STARS is a lot easier to remember and a lot more pleasing to the ear. Remember that there's no right or wrong answers in a behavior interview. The interview is just merely trying to understand how you behave in a situation. To ameliorate your chance of landing your next position, please remember STAR, deliver a lot of speeches, and participate in table topics. Thank you.